I cancel
No,
yesterday?
no problem.
Okay. Because it was really snowy here. I took to another city. I couldn't come back.
No problem.
Yeah. Have you studied?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No.
No?
No.
So I ask you some questions, okay?
Ask me.
Tell me, what are the branches of common hepatic?
Common hepatic gives us a proper hepatic and gastroduodenal. Proper hepatic gives us
Yeah.
right and left hepatic. The right hepatic gives us a cystic branch. The left one, nothing. No, the wait.
One more.
What?
Proper hepatic gives and
Yeah, the left gastric artery.
not left.
The right. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The right gastric, and the duoden epigastric duodenal gives us two. The
Gastroduodenal.
gives us two branches. The superior pancreatic duodenal, which gives us anterior and posterior, and the other branch is the right gastric epiploic artery.
Okay. Do you find around of the stomach?
What?
Let me turn the camera off, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Which artery do you find around fundus of the stomach?
Fundus, short gastric artery.
Okay, good. Okay, explain me the portal system. How the portal vein is formed, what kind of blood is carrying, where do you find it, and what happens to portal vein?
Portal vein it's formed by the splenic artery and the vein and the superior mesenteric vein and the inferior mesenteric vein join with either splenic vein or the superior mesenteric, or the junction between them. It goes to and it carry not to pure deoxygenated blood, because it's getting from the digestion system. What do you want more? It goes to into the liver.
And where do you find it in the body? In which ligament?
Hepatoduodenal.
Okay, and what happens when it goes to the liver?
Goes to the liver, detoxification occurs there, and the blood leaves as hepatic vein.
So tell me what happens to it. First, where does it go?
I don't like.
We said first goes to sinusoid.
Yeah, you mean sinusoid. Then it goes to the central vein. Then central vein, perilobular vein. Then it goes to the hepatic vein. Then hepatic
sublobular, then hepatic.
Then hepatic to the inferior vena cava.
Yeah, and what happens in the sinusoids?
It makes the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood.
The blood of the portal vein and the hepatic artery mixed
together.
Yeah, tell me one of the caval anastomosis. You choose. We said three. You choose one of them and you tell me.
It's the cavo-caval anastomosis divide by anterior and posterior. Anterior deep superficial. Superficial is the lateral thoracic with the epigastric, superficial epigastric. They join together, forming thoraco-epigastric artery. Vein. And we have the deep one between superior and inferior epigastric veins. The deep one is the ascending lumbar,
The one in you should say anterior abdominal wall and posterior abdominal wall. Okay? So you said superior and inferior epigastric vein. How is it a cavo-caval anastomosis? Explain it. What happens?
The superior epigastric, it comes to drain into internal thoracic vein. This is the internal thoracic vein drain into brachiocephalic, later then to the superior vena cava. The inferior epigastric drain into inferior vena cava.
How? Directly.
Just wait, let me remember. I don't remember this thing.
First into external iliac.
Yeah, external.
Then do you remember what happens to external iliac?
External iliac, internal iliac gives us common iliac, and right and left common iliac form inferior vena cava.
Okay, good. What are the paired visceral branches of abdominal aorta?
Paired visceral. We have renal, suprarenal arteries, and gonadal arteries, testicular and ovarian arteries.
If it is male, testicular.
Yeah, testicular. Yeah.
And why do we have the gonadal arteries in the abdominal cavity? Because the gonads, they are in pelvis, right?
Yeah, but when they grow, like
Then they develop.
they develop in the abdominal, and then they goes to the pelvic through the inguinal canal.
Okay. Okay, good. Abdullah, you know your theory is good, okay?
Yes.
So what should you do? You should really be careful and practice also hard practically.
Yes.
Find everything, okay?
Yes.
Find everything on the cadaver. See all the structures.
All right.
So, should we start?
Yeah.
You know, today we talked about arteries and vein. We talked about lymphatic drainage of the organs, then innervation of the organs. Then we have some stuff that are missed, like from our previous lessons. We're gonna cover them. Okay?
All right.
Okay, first lymphatic drainage. Let me find a picture in the book because we also have same edition, so it's easy to find. Okay, plate 266. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Look, it says one lymph vessels are not the first one. Okay. So you know how the pathway of the lymph is, right? It should be also upward, toward
Left side.
this angulus venosus.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
We said third, fourth of the body. It means hold the lower limb, and 1/4 in the left side. They drain into thoracic duct. Look at your book. Do you see thoracic duct here in the left side?
Yes.
And 1/4 in the right side, they drain into this one. It says right subclavian trunk or right lymphatic trunk.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now we should collect everything from lower limb and abdominal cavity, and then they should drain into here. What is this thoracic duct? You remember from thorax, right?
Yes.
This thoracic duct then goes to the left side and drain into left angulus venosus. Because we're in the lower part of the body, they don't drain into right lymphatic trunk because that's just the 1/4 in the upper side of the body.
Yes.
Okay, so now look here. Here, for the abdomen, we have 2 lymph nodes, 2 group of lymph nodes. Everything from lower limb collect and drain into, do you see external iliac nodes here?
Yes.
with external iliac vein.
Yeah.
Okay? External iliac nodes bring the lymph from lower limb.
Okay.
From pelvic region, we have internal iliac nodes. Do you see them?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, internal iliac nodes.
Exactly. Now, external and internal iliac
Gives
nodes
us
drain into
common
common iliac nodes.
Yes.
It's clear so far?
Yeah.
Then the common iliac nodes drain into lumbar nodes. If you go upside here, on each side you see lumbar nodes, or they are called lateral aortic nodes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then from these lumbar nodes, everything from posterior wall of the abdomen, from kidney, ureter, testes, so it means the parietal part of your body, and also paired visceral organs
Yes.
drain into lumbar nodes, and you have both on right and left sides.
Okay.
Okay, and these lumbar nodes, from these nodes you get a trunk. It's called lumbar trunk. Find it.
Yes, left lumbar trunk.
Yeah. So you have left and right lumbar trunk. Find the right one also. Go above it, you see right.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Everything from the organs, for example, you have a stomach, a spleen, liver. Do you remember they get their blood supply from celiac trunk?
Yes.
Everything that gets its blood supply from superior mesenteric and everything that it gets blood supply from inferior mesenteric, they drain into same lymph nodes.
Visceral
It
lymph
means,
nodes.
exactly, it means we have a group of lymph nodes. Look at your book, it says peri-aortic lymph nodes. Do you remember celiac trunk, superior and inferior mesenteric, they're on top of aorta.
Yes.
So you have lymph nodes around them with the same name. You have celiac nodes, superior mesenteric and inferior mesenteric nodes, which are called peri-aortic lymph nodes.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
These lymph nodes, all of them together, they drain into a trunk which is called intestinal trunk. Find this.
Intestinal.
Close to the
Yes,
two
yes,
lower,
yes.
you see intestinal trunk. Do you see?
Yes, intestinal trunk.
Okay, good. Now, the two lumbar trunk, right and left lumbar trunk, plus intestinal trunk, they form this big lymph nodes. It's called cisterna chyli.
Okay.
It's at the level of almost L1.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Then after this cisterna chyli, you get a trunk or a duct. This is called thoracic duct, which pierces the aortic opening, the same opening that you have in the diaphragm for aorta. Through aortic opening, thoracic duct goes up into the thorax in the right side. Then at the level of the arch goes to the left and empty into left angulus osseous.
Yes.
Okay, so from lower limb drain into external iliac nodes, pelvic region into internal iliac nodes.
Yes.
These two, they form common iliac nodes, right?
Yeah.
You have both on right side and left side.
Yes.
And then you have lumbar nodes, which are on lateral side of the aorta and on inferior vena cava. Do you see?
Yes.
From the into lumbar nodes, the parietal part of the abdominal cavity and the paired visceral organs. It means posterior abdominal wall, and from kidney, ureter, testes, ovary, they drain into lumbar nodes. From these nodes, you get two trunk, right and left lumbar trunk. What is left? The unpaired visceral organ are left. They drain into the same lymph nodes as they get blood supply from. So we have celiac node, superior mesenteric node and inferior mesenteric nodes.
Okay.
These nodes, they form a trunk which is called intestinal trunk. Now the two lumbar trunk with intestinal trunk, they form cisterna chyle, and after cisterna chyle we get a duct which is called thoracic duct. So you should find cisterna chyle in the body.
Okay.
And you see it almost lateral to the, do you know where you have celiac trunk?
Yes.
Yeah, it's, and celiac trunk, below it you have superior mesenteric. It starts at the level of L1, right?
Yeah.
So lateral to them in the right side you should find cisterna chyle. So put a star and find it in the cadaver.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have questions?
No.
No?
No. Thanks.
Let's talk about innervation then. So let me find again a picture. Okay, 318. It says autonomic nerves and ganglia of abdomen. Found it.
Yes.
Okay, look.
What's the page?
318.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay, good. You know, we're going to talk about innervation of the organs. They have autonomic innervation. What kind of fibers do we need? Sympathetic and parasympathetic. Generally, where do we get sympathetic fibers from?
From ganglions. The ganglion.
Yeah.
Yes.
From which part of the body? Sympathetic or thoracolumbar.
Yeah, thoracolumbar.
What about parasympathetic?
Vagus, we take it in the
So it's
abdominal and thoracic.
Craniosacral.
Yeah, craniosacral.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So with sympathetic fibers, they're thoracolumbar, and parasympathetic fibers, they're craniosacral.
Yes.
Now, first we talk about sympathetic fibers and sympathetic ganglions. Do you remember in the thorax we got three nerves: greater splanchnic, lesser splanchnic, and least splanchnic?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Greater splanchnic was from T6 to T9, lesser splanchnic was T10, T11, and least splanchnic was T12.
Yes.
They bring the sympathetic fibers from thorax into abdomen.
Yeah.
Okay? Now in the notes you have a table. Look at that table.
Yes.
You have periganglionic, then you have ganglion, then you have postganglionic, right?
Okay.
Periganglionic sympathetic fibers, they're thoracolumbar. You either get it from thoracic part of a spinal cord or lumbar. From thoracic part, you know, you get three nerves: greater splanchnic, lesser splanchnic, and least splanchnic, right?
Yes.
And here in the abdomen, we have two groups of ganglions. Do you remember here on each side of vertebral column, we have sympathetic trunk?
Yes.
They're called paravertebral ganglions. They're parallel with the vertebral column. So sympathetic trunk is on each side of vertebral column, and you call the ganglion of sympathetic trunk paravertebral ganglion.
Where is
Then, what?
Is it written in your note? Parasympathetic fibers.
Sympathetic fibers.
It's not in the table, right?
No, not in the table.
Sympathetic thoracolumbar spinal cord, prevertebral, sympathetic prevertebral ganglia. Okay.
Okay. Then these ganglions which you see on top of aorta, they're perivertebral, before vertebra.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 4 ganglions around the celiac ganglion, where you have superior mesenteric. Do you see superior mesenteric ganglion?
Yes.
Then when you have inferior mesenteric, you see inferior mesenteric ganglion.
Yes.
So they're just one. But here on each side of the renal artery, do you see?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Right aorticorenal ganglion.
Yeah, so we have right and left aorticorenal ganglion. They are 2.
Yes.
Telling you that we give innervation to aorta and kidney, aorticorenal. So we have, look at the table, we have 4 ganglions: celiac, superior mesenteric, aorticorenal, then the last one is inferior mesenteric, right?
Yes.
So we need first periganglionic fibers for them. Look, the first name, which was greater splanchnic nerve, goes to celiac ganglion. The second one was lesser splanchnic nerve, goes to superior mesenteric ganglion.
Yeah.
The last one was least splanchnic nerve, bring perisympathetic periganglionic sympathetic fibers for aorticorenal ganglion.
Yes.
Now the thoracic sympathetic fibers are finished, right?
Yes.
Because the last one is T12 and we get least splanchnic. So where should we get the sympathetic fibers then for the last ganglion?
Lumbar, lower limb.
Exactly. So we get it now from lumbar.
Yes.
They're called lumbar splanchnic nerves. Yes. So we have thoracic and lumbar splanchnic nerve. They bring sympathetic fibers.
Okay.
This one goes into inferior mesenteric ganglion.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's easy. How do these sympathetic fibers reach the organs? Through the arteries that reach the organ. For example, from celiac ganglion, right?
Yes.
The fibers are carrying through branches of celiac trunk. And for example, you have left gastric, esophageal. So left gastric carries sympathetic fiber to lesser curvature. Esophageal artery carries sympathetic fiber to esophagus. So from each artery goes to the each organ.
Yes.
And it's easy then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, let's talk about, this was sympathetic. Go to the page 324.
But we can't, like this, I can't identify it in the cadaver, right? Because it's like, inside the artery.
What?
Like I can't identify the...
You can, on the cadaver, you can see the splanchnic nerves in thoracic splanchnic nerves. You can see these big ganglions. Sometimes, most of the time, celiac ganglion is visible.
Okay.
It's big, okay? And you can see sympathetic trunk on each side of vertebral column.
Okay.
So now write on a paper.
Yes.
Cisterna chyle.
Cisterna chyle.
Yeah. Ganglions, right? For example, celiac ganglion.
Celiac.
Yeah. Ganglion. And then sympathetic trunk.
Sympathetic trunk.
Okay, look for this. And also check if you can see the other ganglions, okay? Okay. Go to the page 324.
Yes.
It says innervation of a small and large intestine.
Yes.
Okay. Not a good quality. Okay, this picture, right?
Yeah.
So where do we get, what did we say? Look at the picture of your book.
Yes.
Where do we get parasympathetic fibers from?
Vagus.
So parasympathetic fibers are craniosacral.
Yeah,
You can
craniosacral.
get it from cranial nerve. Which one is going to thorax and vagus?
Vagus.
Or you can get it from sacral part of the spinal cord. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. First, look at the red fibers.
Yeah.
Look at the red one. They're sympathetic. Okay?
Yeah.
Look from T6 to T9, you see T9. Follow the T9, you see greater splanchnic nerve. The black one, sorry, it shows with black.
Yes.
Do you see greater splanchnic nerve?
I see the black one.
Okay, so look here, somewhere here. Look here.
Yeah, greater, lesser, least.
Very good. So greater splanchnic, it goes into celiac trunk, celiac ganglion. Do you see?
Yes.
And then lesser splanchnic goes into superior mesenteric,
Yes.
and least goes into aorticorenal ganglion.
Yes.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Okay. So there, these three thoracic splanchnic nerves.
Yes.
Then go down, you have inferior mesenteric ganglion. Look, you get that from lumbar part of the spinal cord. Do you see?
Yeah, nerve, lumbar splanchnic nerve.
Exactly. So you get it from lumbar part.
Yes.
Okay. It goes into inferior mesenteric ganglion. So you see, we have the synapses. Do you see? It comes a flash and then a round thing leave. It means they make synapses inside the ganglions.
Yes.
Okay, and then we said through the arteries they reach the organs.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go and talk about parasympathetic fibers. We said we can get it either from vagus, it's craniosacral. Sacral means sacral part of a spinal cord. Yeah?
Yeah.
Here you can see the blue fibers. Here is blue and black. Follow them.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So vagus bring parasympathetic fibers for foregut and midgut.
Okay.
And from sacral part of a spinal cord, we have
Hindgut.
pelvic splanchnic nerve. Look at them, it says pelvic splanchnic nerves. Here.
Yes.
They give parasympathetic fibers for hindgut.
Yes.
It's from S2 to S4.
Yeah.
So you should know that thoracic and lumbar splanchnic nerve, what kind of fibers do they carry? Sympathetic. But splanchnic nerve, what kind of fibers do they have?
What? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, thoracic and lumbar splanchnic nerve, they have sympathetic fibers.
Yes.
Pelvic splanchnic nerve, they have
Parasympathetic.
very good. Okay, now look at the vagus. It's coming from brain. Look at the vagus.
Yes.
It brings the parasympathetic fibers to foregut and midgut.
Yeah.
Do you see till 2/3 of transverse column?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know here, where is the ganglion then? We said for sympathetic we have ganglion. Celiac, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. Where is the ganglion of the parasympathetic organs? Where do they make synapses? They have intrinsic ganglions. The ganglions are inside the organs. Look at the dots in the organ. You have flash and the dot then inside the organ.
Okay.
Do you remember from histo, myenteric or Auerbach or submucosa or Meissner plexus?
Yes.
Yeah, in the intestine.
Yeah, this time.
So they have inside or intrinsic ganglions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so vagus gives parasympathetic fibers to foregut and midgut, so till 2/3 of transverse colon, and then from pelvic splanchnic nerve, look, you get parasympathetic fibers from this 1/3 of transverse colon, descending sigmoid, and then rectum.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're talking about the parasympathetic, the ganglion is inside the organ. If you're talking about sympathetic, from a spinal cord, you get periganglionic fibers, the white rami.
Yeah.
It goes into paravertebral ganglion first. Look, you get from spinal cord, it goes first to paravertebral ganglion, which we call them the ganglions of sympathetic trunk, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens from there? We have gray, which is like post. It goes into perivertebral ganglion, which were celiac, superior mesenteric, aortic-renal, and inferior mesenteric. Then after that, through the arteries, it reaches the organs.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So do you have any questions?
No. Yes.
Okay, good. So that was innervation of the organs.
Okay.
And you know, you have some notes. It says in the first page, for example, blood supply, innervation, and lymphatic drainage of abdominal organs. Do you see in the notes? Then you have esophagus.
Blood supply, innervation, lymphatic drainage of abdomen, esophagus. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, we talked about arteries, veins, nerves, and lymph nodes, right?
Yeah, so this organ by organ, you mean?
Exactly. I separated everything so you know you should be able to say, right?
Yeah.
I also separated for you.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
you can also go through.
Alright.
Okay. Let's talk about lumbar plexus.
Lumbar, okay. What is lumbar here?
First, we look at a picture in lower limb. Okay, 498.
498. I don't have that page.
No?
No,
Why?
I don't know.
What about 496 or 7?
I don't know. There is a gap between 417 and 548.
Oh,
Just show me the picture. Don't worry.
okay.
Where is the
Look
other
at
one?
here. Do you see?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember when we talked about, for example, the spinal nerves? We have cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral spinal nerves.
Yes.
What happens to the cervical one? C1 to C4 form cervical plexus, C5 to T1 form brachial plexus.
Yes.
What about in thorax? The nerves go one by one. We call them intercostal nerves. We had 12, and the last one was called subcostal. So they don't form plexus, they go one by one.
Yes.
But again, in lumbar and sacral part, we have plexus. So in lumbar region from L1 to L4, we have lumbar plexus.
Yes.
L4, L5, they form lumbosacral trunk.
Okay.
And then from S1 to S4, we have sacral plexus.
Okay.
Now we're going to talk about lumbar plexus, which is made from L1 to L4.
Okay.
From this lumbar plexus, we get different nerves. Look, from L1, you get two nerves, iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal nerve.
Okay.
Okay, and both of them are coming from L1. Look at here, iliohypogastric is a bit above, ilioinguinal below.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Then from L1, L2, L1, L2, you get a branch which is called genitofemoral branch.
Yes.
I will show you later. This nerve is split into two, genital branch and femoral branch.
Okay.
Okay? Then from L2, L3, L4. L2, L3, L4, this
Okay,
yellow
later.
one. You have a big nerve which is called femoral nerve.
Okay.
L2 to L4. Look at the green one. It's again from L2 to L4. We have obturator nerve.
Yes.
And from L2, L3, we have lateral femoral
Okay.
teneus. It's telling you that I'm going to the lateral side of femur and I give a skin innervation.
Yes.
Okay? So L1 gives iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal.
Yes.
L1, L2, genitofemoral, which is split into genital branch and femoral branch. L2, L3, lateral femoral cutaneous.
Yes.
And L2 to L4, it gives femoral, again L2 to L4, obturator nerve. Okay?
Yes.
Now let's find these nerves on the body, on the cadaver. You should show them all. You should find all of them. All of them, yes.
Okay.
Okay? Where do you find them? In the posterior abdominal wall
Okay.
behind the kidney.
Okay.
Okay? So do you see this one is L1?
Yes.
It is split into two. One, two.
Yeah.
The one above is iliohypogastric. The one below is ilioinguinal.
Yes.
Yeah? Where do you find them? You know, they're on top of quadratus lumborum muscle.
Okay.
And they run toward the abdominal wall anteriorly. They go between transverse abdominis and internal oblique. They come out from here and they go to the anterior abdominal wall also.
Okay.
So between transverse abdominis and internal oblique. And they supply the muscles and skin.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
This is iliohypogastric. Ilioinguinal, do you see it goes also a bit downward?
Yeah.
It goes into the inguinal canal and enters the superficial ring.
Yes.
Then we have lateral femoral cutaneous nerve, this one.
Yes.
You find it, do you know which muscle it is? This is called iliacus muscle.
Okay.
Okay, you find it on top of iliacus muscle and it goes to the lateral surface of the thigh. It gives cutaneous innervation there.
Okay.
Okay, then we have here three nerves. We have genitofemoral, femoral, and obturator nerve.
Yes.
Look at the other side. So we need to find genitofemoral, femoral, and obturator, right?
Yeah.
Femoral nerve, this is psoas major. Femoral is lateral to the psoas major. So this is psoas major, lateral to psoas major. This is femoral.
Yes.
Obturator is medial to psoas major. So this is psoas major, medial to it. This is obturator.
Okay.
Genitofemoral, it pierces the psoas major. Do you see this nerve piercing the psoas major?
Yeah.
This is genitofemoral nerve.
Okay.
And we said, look here, it is split into two. It is split into genital branch and femoral branch.
Okay.
Femoral branch goes to lacuna vasurum. Do you remember? We have femoral artery, femoral vein. Now you learn we also have femoral branch of genitofemoral nerve.
Yeah.
Genital branch, it goes toward the spermatic cord.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now again, look, we said what are these two that you see on quadratus lumbarum?
Iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal.
Yeah, very good. I ask you a question. What is this one? You think it's coming from under diaphragm down and it's above iliohypogastric.
Is it the splenic? Splanchnic.
No. Splanchnic, they go to the ganglions.
So
we said iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal, they come from L1, right?
Yes.
If you see a nerve above them, it means it's coming from T12, so it's subcostal.
Yeah, subcostal,
Yeah, so this is subcostal if you see a nerve above them.
Yeah.
So these two, iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal. Then if you sit on top of iliacus, this is
Iliacus.
lateral femoral cutaneous.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
these are these three. The other three, they have something to do with psoas major. One of them is lateral to psoas major. This is
Femoral.
one of them is medial to psoas major. This is,
Obturator.
and one of them is pierced to psoas major. This is
Genitofemoral.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
Look. You know, sometimes the examiner. Do you see here?
Yes.
This is psoas major.
Yeah.
And you see three nerves here, one lateral to it, one medial to it, and one pierced.
Yes.
On top of psoas major, you have psoas minor muscle.
Yeah.
Psoas minor has a long tendon here. Do you see?
Yes.
Sometimes the examiner take this tendon and ask you what is it. Because it's white, you might mix it that it is a nerve. You might say this is genitofemoral nerve.
Okay.
Okay, and they fail. Be careful. So write also in the note that you were trying to find the structures. Lumbar plexus, branches of lumbar plexus.
Lumbar plexus.
Yeah? And then tendon of psoas minor.
Okay. Lumbar plexus. Tendon.
Of psoas minor.
Psoas minor.
Yeah. So you should see this, that, and you don't mix it with the nerves, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Let's check, like, generally, which structures do you see in posterior abdominal wall and anterior abdominal wall? What is the blood supply, innervation, venous drainage of posterior and anterior abdominal wall, okay?
Okay.
In the posterior abdominal wall, we talked about these muscles. Do you remember? Laterally, we have
Thoracic abdominal muscle.
thoracic abdominal muscle. What is it? Transverse abdominis.
Transverse abdominis. Sorry.
Then we have quadratus lumbarum.
Lumbar. Yeah.
Then we have here
So,
psoas
major
major.
or minor.
On top of psoas minor, we see. On top of psoas major, we
you
see
find minor.
psoas minor.
Yeah.
And here, where you have the iliac bone, we talk also about it in pelvis. This is iliacus muscle.
Okay.
Okay, so in the posterior abdominal wall, which bones do we have? Lumbar vertebrae, L1 to L5.
Okay.
Which muscles do we have? Laterally, we have transverse abdominis muscle.
Yes.
In the cavity, we have quadratus lumbarum, psoas major, psoas minor, iliacus.
Yes.
Superiorly, we have diaphragm.
Yes.
And which fascia do we have in the cavity here, which covers diaphragm and everywhere here? Endo-abdominal fascia.
Yes.
When it is here, it's called transversalis fascia.
Yeah,
when it covers diaphragm here, it's called diaphragmatic fascia.
Okay.
Which nerves do we see here inside the cavity posteriorly? We see subcostal nerve.
Yes.
And we see the branches of lumbar plexus.
Okay.
Which vessels do we see? We see abdominal aorta and inferior vena cava.
Okay.
Which branches of abdominal aorta give blood vessel to here? Lumbar arteries. We had 4 pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what drain these arteries? Lumbar veins, which form ascending lumbar vein.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to tell you some like clinical stuff, okay?
Is it written in your note or I have to write it?
It should be written. Posterior abdominal wall is in the lesson 3 at the end, after liver.
After liver?
Mm-hmm.
No, mate. Liver. What is this?
It says posterior abdominal wall.
Visceral, ureter, kidney, portal vein. I don't have it.
You don't have it?
No.
It should be.
I have 2 notes, but no, no problem. I'll check in the other notes later on.
Okay. If you want, I can tell you to write it, or I can write it, take picture, send to you.
You have, it's written in your note, right?
Yeah, I have to find it, yeah.
Okay, no problem. Later on I'll see. If I don't have it, I'll...
Okay, let me know, okay? I send it to you.
Alright.
Now look at here. Do you remember this fascia? It's called
thoracolumbar
thoracolumbar fascia.
Yes.
It's attached to iliac crest here.
Yes.
It's attached to 12 ribs here.
Yeah.
It is attached to which muscle? Which muscles or thoracolumbar fascia? Do you remember? Internal oblique and transverse abdominis.
Yes.
And in the upper part, you see latissimus dorsi also originates from here.
Yes.
You know here, somewhere here, we have a triangle. It says it's called lumbar triangle.
Okay.
This is also a weak point. We have some weak points in the body. We have umbilicus. It's a weak point.
Yes.
We can get umbilical hernia.
Okay.
The intestine can come out from there. We have inguinal point, inguinal hernia, which we talked about, deep ring and superficial ring, right? They were also weak point.
Yes.
And here we have in lumbar triangle, which is also a weak point, and we can have lumbar hernia.
Yes.
So 3 hernia: umbilical hernia, lumbar hernia, inguinal hernia. Okay. So 3 places that we have weak points in the abdominal wall, anteriorly or posteriorly.
Okay.
Here, the triangle is somewhere here. What are the borders? Do you see this muscle? This is external oblique.
Okay.
Yeah. So anteriorly, we have external oblique.
Yes.
Posteriorly, here, we have latissimus dorsi.
Okay.
Inferiorly, here we have iliac crest.
Yes.
And like a part of the lateral is also thoracolumbar fascia. And in the floor, we see this muscle. This is internal oblique.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's been external oblique, latissimus dorsi and thoracolumbar fascia, and then iliac crest.
Yes.
The triangle is here. The floor is internal oblique. This is called lumbar triangle, a common place for lumbar hernia. So this is a big point.
Okay.
Okay.
What goes out?
Intestine also can go out from here, for example.
Okay.
So this was posterior abdominal wall, okay?
Okay.
Before we have looked at the anterior abdominal wall, but let's just make a summary. Which nerves do we see in anterior abdominal wall? What are these nerves? Intercostal nerves from T7 till 12, right?
Yes.
And here you can see anterior and lateral cutaneous branches of intercostal nerves.
Yes.
If you go a bit deeper, do you see these two nerves here?
Yes.
Here? Do you remember I told you ilioinguinal and iliohypogastric, they go between transverse abdominis and internal oblique, and they also run anteriorly toward the anterior wall.
Yes.
So you can also see them here, but deep, between internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscle.
Okay.
What are the arteries of anterior abdominal wall?
Superior internal thoracic, superior epigastric.
What? What did you say?
Inferior, superior and inferior phrenic.
Epigastric.
Epigastric, sorry.
Yeah. Superior epigastric, where do you get it from?
Superior internal thoracic.
Okay, good. And what is this here? It shows partly.
It's the intercostal artery. So anterior intercostal artery.
Where do you get them from? The lower one. Musculophrenic.
Yes.
Do you remember?
No.
Internal thoracic artery is split into superior epigastric and musculophrenic. Yeah?
Yeah.
So look,
Yeah, I remember.
this is
yes,
the
yes.
one that goes toward abdomen.
Yeah.
This is superior epigastric, which goes toward the ribs, which gives 7 to 11 anterior intercostal. This is musculophrenic.
Yes.
Okay, so you should be careful which arteries there here. This also gives some branches to the lateral wall of abdomen.
Okay.
So what about inferior epigastric? Where do you get these from? You know, here you see femoral artery. What is the continuation of femoral artery here?
External iliac artery.
Very good, yeah. So from external iliac, here you can see two branches which we have. One of them is inferior epigastric here.
Yeah.
And one of them, you see it here, it's called deep circumflex iliac artery.
Okay.
Okay, so deep circumflex iliac, which is laterally, make anastomosis with the branches of musculophrenic. These two are laterally.
Yes.
What do we have anteriorly? Superior and inferior epigastric, which one of them is branch of internal thoracic, one of them is branch of external iliac. These two, they make anastomosis anteriorly.
Okay.
What do we have here? We should have branches of femoral artery, right?
Yeah.
We have, look, do you remember superficial epigastric vein?
Yes.
Superficially, so these two are deeper in the rectus sheath.
Yeah.
Superficially under the skin, we have superficial epigastric artery.
Okay.
And this is called superficial circumflex iliac.
Okay.
These two, they're branches of femoral artery.
Okay.
So deep circumflex is from external iliac, superficial one is from femoral.
Okay.
Okay, and then you have the veins with the same name that just drain into opposite direction, like superficial epigastric vein drain into femoral vein.
Yeah.
Inferior epigastric vein drain into external iliac vein, right?
Yeah.
So the vein is just opposite. And where do you find the arteries and veins? These arteries and veins, at which level? You see they're between internal oblique and
Transverse abdominis.
So the nerves and the arteries, they're between the two, except the superficial one, which are under the skin.
Okay.
Okay. You know, before we didn't talk about peritoneal recess, right? It was left.
Yes.
First, I'll show you here. What is recess?
This is the space.
Yeah, it's a space, right? We
Yes.
divide the peritoneal recess into two. Recess of lesser sac, which should be somewhere here, and recess of greater sac. It means in the cavity.
Okay.
What are the recesses of lesser sac? We have one laterally here between spleen. You know where you have the spleen?
Yeah.
Just imagine a spleen is here.
Yeah.
You have one laterally, which is called a splenic. It's between the two ligaments, gastrolineal and phrenicolinial.
Okay.
So do you see here? Just imagine this goes from stomach to spleen, gastrolineal,
Yeah.
and from diaphragm to spleen, phrenicolinial.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really visible here. You have to imagine.
Okay.
And then we have one recess superiorly here between liver and diaphragm. You see it.
Okay.
Do you see it here?
Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
Which leads to lesser sac, right?
Yeah.
And then, do you remember, I think you asked you, do you remember greater omentum?
Yes.
It was 4 layers and then 2 layers
Fused together.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
They are fused together.
Exactly. Let me find it quickly. Okay, look. So do you see that it goes down? It's 4 layers first.
Yeah.
And then these come together.
Yes.
And this layer absorbs. Now you have 2 layers.
Yeah.
Do you see the space between these 2 layers?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you also have a recess between the 2 layers of greater omentum.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So the recess of lesser sac, they're called splenic.
Yeah.
Then superiorly you have between liver and diaphragm.
Yeah.
And then inferiorly you have between the 2 layers of greater omentum.
Okay.
Yeah? So do you see this is lesser sac? This is one of them, superiorly, liver and diaphragm. Laterally, it's between a spleen
Yeah.
and the 2 ligaments. And inferiorly, look, this is lesser sac, we continue. Do you see?
Yes.
It leads to these layers which are between the 2 greater omentum.
Okay.
This is space. Then we have recess of greater sac. It's easier.
Okay.
The recess of the greater sac, it's where an organ become from intraperitoneal to retro, or the other way around, from retro to intra.
Okay.
Okay? What does it mean? Look here, we said duodenum is retro. The second, third, and fourth one, right?
Yes.
Then jejunum is intra.
Yeah.
So you have a recess between these two, between duodenum and jejunum.
Okay.
Okay? Then the other one is called paracolic recess or retrocolic. It's where the cecum is intra become ascending. Ascending is retro.
And then
Yeah?
descending with the sigmoid.
Exactly. So this is called sigmoidal.
Okay.
Okay. The other one is here between ilium and cecum. When ilium joint or pierced the cecum, it's called iliocecal.
Okay.
You have at the junction between these two. So you have duodenal, iliocecal, paracolic, and sigmoidal.
Okay.
Okay, so they're the recesses of the greater sac.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't have any question, we finished with abdomen.
No, I don't have.
We just gonna do diaphragm now.
Okay.
Let's quickly look at your topic list, so see how they look. Here, muscles, fascia, blood supply, and lymphatic drainage of abdominal wall.
Today,
Yeah. Inguinal region.
Yeah, the
Sensory innervation of abdominal wall.
yes.
Diaphragm, we do it now.
Okay.
Peritoneum and peritoneal cavity.
Yes.
So explain like what is peritoneum, you know, do you remember ligaments, mesentery, omentum, lesser side, greater side. Then here you have the organs, okay? We did the anatomy of the organs before, and today or the last lesson we did artery, veins, lymphatic drainage, innervation.
Yes.
So stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, pancreas, spleen.
Okay.
Abdominal aorta and its branches.
Yeah, we did last time.
Inferior vena cava. How it is formed, what drains into inferior vena cava.
Yes.
Here again, inferior vena cava, then portal vein.
Yeah.
And portal system anastomosis. This is portocaval anastomosis.
Yes.
Lymphatic drainage of abdominal organs. We do pelvic organs later.
Yes.
Retroperitoneum. We said the borders, the chambers, and what is inside in each chamber.
Okay.
And then kidney.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do diaphragm. How do the topics look?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, diaphragm. This is a good picture.
Okay.
Here.
Yes.
You know, we're looking from abdominal cavity up. The organs are removed. Do you see these are the rib cage?
Yes.
And these are the lumbar vertebrae.
Yes.
Yeah? So diaphragm, what is it? It's made of muscles and tendons. Do you see around it? It's made of muscles, and all the muscles insert in the middle, which is called central tendon.
Yes.
And okay, what is that? What it has two parts then. It has a muscular part and the tendinous part, which is the insertion of the fibers of the muscles.
Yeah.
If you look at the muscular part, it originates from three places. It originates from sternum, from ribs, and here from lumbar vertebrae. Okay? When originates from ribs, in the right side is a bit higher than the left side. In the right side is like at the level of 50, left side is between 5th and 6th, so it's a bit lower. Why is it higher in the right side?
Liver?
Yeah, because the liver push it up. Because of the liver. So we said it originates from sternum, it's called a sternal part, from ribs, it's called costal part, and from vertebra, lumbar vertebrae. Okay? Where does it come from? Sternum from posterior side, part of xiphoid process, from internal surface of xiphoid process. From ribs, it's from inside of the costal cartilages.
Yes.
And look at the from lumbar, from vertebra. It's different in right than the left side. Do you see?
Yes.
If you look at the right side, it comes from L3, L4, body of L3, L4.
Yeah.
In the left side is body of L3, L2.
Yes.
Yeah? And when these two, they go up, they form two crus.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So here, do you see some of the fibers from here, they attach to from body of L2 to transverse process of L2.
Okay.
And then from here, they attach to 12 ribs.
Yes.
So again, from body of L2 to transverse process of L2, from transverse process of L2 to 12 rib.
Yes.
Yeah? Do you see these are some fibers which are coming from muscles?
Yes.
Some ligaments. They're called medial and lateral arcuate ligament.
Okay.
What do you think, which muscle is coming from here under the medial arcuate ligament?
So it's latissimus dorsi.
Latissimus dorsi is on the back, on the other side. We're inside the cavity. You said in the beginning. Look, medial arcuate ligament, which muscle does it have? Psoas major.
Yes.
What about lateral arcuate ligament?
Quadratus
lumborum.
Yes.
So what are these ligaments? They're the thickening of the fascia which covers psoas major and covers quadratus lumborum.
Okay.
Okay, so here we have two arches, medial and lateral arcuate ligament.
Yes.
Okay, what are the structures that pass through diaphragm? We have three big openings. Aortic opening here, which is at the level of T12. Esophageal opening, which is at the level of T10.
Yes.
And caval opening, which is at the level of T8.
Okay.
Okay, do you remember what passed through caval opening together with inferior vena cava?
Is it the ascending lumbar?
No.
No, we said it last class.
Ascending lumbar is together with aorta. We change into azygos and hemiazygos,
Yes,
right?
Yes. We said something bad with it.
Yeah, what was it? Do you remember? The right phrenic nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah? Together with esophagus, what do we have? Vagus.
Vagus, yeah.
And together with aorta, we said today, do you remember thoracic duct?
Yeah, thoracic duct.
And we also have right and left ascending lumbar vein. We changed their name into azygos and hemiazygos.
Yes.
Okay, so these are big openings. And then do you remember we talked about splanchnic nerves which diaphragm and come to the abdomen.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So they come through small openings.
Okay.
Okay? And how these openings are formed, do you remember here we said they originate from vertebra.
Yeah.
When they originate from vertebra, they cross each other. So it goes like that, make a cross and comes like that.
Okay.
It forms two openings.
Yeah.
It's called esophageal opening and aortic opening.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
What is So here, do you see the muscular part in the upper part?
Yes.
It forms here two dome. They call right and left dome.
Yes.
The lungs are resting on the domes,
Yes.
and the heart is resting on the central tendon.
Okay.
Here you can see the openings. Look, through caval opening, this is also right phrenic nerve.
Yes.
Together with aorta, this is very small, but look, this is aorta. Do you see this green one? This is thoracic duct.
Yes.
Do you see these two blue ones? They're
Yeah.
ascending
Yeah.
lumbar veins. We changed their name to azygos and hemiazygos.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And here you see the rest of the structures which are coming through small openings. For example, the splanchnic nerves.
Yes.
Yeah? And here we have a triangle. It's called a sternocostal triangle.
What's called?
A sterno.
Okay.
We have in this triangle the splanchnic nerves. They enter.
Yes.
Okay, small triangle here. Okay, what is the function of diaphragm?
Separation between.
It's a muscle of respiration, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about innervation of diaphragm?
Innervation.
Phrenic nerve.
Yes.
What about blood supply from thoracic part? Which artery give blood supply?
Internal thoracic. Yeah.
It's in the cavity. Diaphragm is in the cavity. Yeah, which branches?
The internal thoracic.
Which branches?
Superior.
You both have,
Musculophrenic. Yeah.
yeah, musculophrenic, pericardiophrenix.
Yeah.
You also have from thoracic aorta superior phrenic artery. What about in the abdomen? Inferior phrenic artery from abdominal aorta,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the nodes? In the upper part, in the thorax, it drains into diaphragmatic nodes.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. This is diaphragm. So you have to know origin, insertion, domes, openings, at which level they are, and what pass through each opening, innervation, blood supply.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we're done with abdomen,
Yeah.
and now it's week 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your next practice is
Tomorrow.
tomorrow and then Thursday.
Friday.
Or Friday.
Yeah.
Good. So what do? You check everything. Okay?
Yes.
Whatever you see, you should know what it is.
Yes.
Ask for everything if you couldn't find. Also the list that I gave you. What did I want to say? Oh, when do you want to start pelvis? Weekend or next week?
Weekend or next week? No, weekend.
Weekend.
Yeah. Even. Why we don't start on Thursday?
On Thursday?
Yeah.
No, go to the Friday practice, check everything for abdomen.
That doesn't affect abdomen.
Doesn't?
Yeah. What's the difference if I take a class?
No, it's better if you see it also once, then we start.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I think.
Okay. As you think.
Yeah, because for example, do you remember I said mesentery, omentum? You had to imagine. It was hard to understand. But when you see, so you know what
I saw these things.
Yeah, but before I start, it would be hard to understand. But when you see, then you know what I'm talking about. It's easier to understand.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's better to start on after the last lesson of abdomen. But if you want, we
tomorrow
can also
is the
start
last.
Thursday.
Tomorrow is the last lesson of abdomen.
Do they start pelvis Thursday?
Friday.
Sure.
Yeah. She said last week you have 2 more classes for abdomen. Last Friday and this is Tuesday. Then we'll
Because
go to
everyone
pelvic.
said till end of this week is
No.
abdomen.
No. I checked
Okay,
even on the
then
website.
huh?
I checked also on the website. They say like Friday it's pelvic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
When do you want it? I don't mind any time.
now you tell me then.
Listen, I go to school only 2 days per week. You know that. I go
Why?
only. This is my classes. Only 2 days.
Why?
My schedule is like this.
Only 2 days per week
Yeah.
to all classes.
Yeah.
Physio, histo, anatomy.
Everything in 2 days.
Oh my god.
So,
How?
so Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday I don't go to school.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So you go Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday is full for me, and Tuesday from 8 till 6. No
Okay,
break.
so let's do something. Let's do
Yes.
something. You go to practice tomorrow,
Yeah.
okay?